Live in Nashville, Tennessee. You are listening to the Nashville Daily Podcast. Nashville's #1 daily podcast. Brought to you by Think Nashville. Think Nashville. Think Brad. Think Brad. It's Nashville Daily Podcast.
Good morning, Nashville, and welcome to the Nashville Daily Podcast. Before we get into the episode, the sponsor of today's episode is Brad Reynolds with thinkbrad.com. You can call him at 615-856-3270, or you can text him, call or text that number, or you can visit his YouTube channel, thinkbrad.com. Joining me in studio is a dear friend, an incredible musician, and he also works for me. His name is Brett Seper.
What's up? How are we doing?
Brett, this is your first podcast that you've been on since you've relocated here to Nashville, and you have an incredible story that I can't wait to share.
Yeah.
You are from Missouri,
Right,
and
correct.
you moved to Nashville about a year ago.
Right.
So walk through that situation of what brought you here to town.
Yeah, really, I've been a musician my entire life. I mean, as far as I can look back, it's all I've ever wanted to do. And so where I'm from in Missouri, there's not a whole lot of opportunities. I had some cool stuff with the TV show opportunity that didn't go through. I figured, if I was capable of being on something like that, then I could take my chances here in Nashville. So yeah, just kind of my whole life led up to that moment, and I said, well, I'm tired of just waiting around in my small area where there's no opportunity, and obviously this is Music City, so figured I'd take my chances.
So the TV show is a really interesting story.
Right.
If you don't mind sharing about it, you were pursued by this network, and they were offering you a spot on this TV show, and then you basically said no, if that's correct.
Right, correct. Yeah, things just didn't work out, and it just wasn't in the right cards for me. And I prayed a lot about it, and I just feel like the best thing for me to do was just to take that as the opportunity as it was, leave it be, with some things that had went down with it, and just decided not to move forward with it. So.
And you decided to not move forward with it because the contract basically said this network will own you,
right,
and your music.
Right. The other things, just with that, it was just things that in the behind it wasn't, like you said, just wasn't fit for me. And I felt like for my music career and the lane that I wanted to take, I felt like it was better for me to do it completely independent and on my own without that platform. So that's why, I went ahead and just decided not to go forward with it. But
so from that decision, what was the decision that allowed you to say, I'm going to move to Nashville to pursue my music career independently? Yeah,
I mean, there was just so many people from my hometown that, had supported me my whole entire life, and I always had been told that, I could do something like this and come down here and make it, doing the music thing. And I just kind of just decided that I was going to do it. And I figured if everybody in my hometown could support me, everybody that's known me my whole life, I figured if I moved somewhere where nobody knew where I was, that's where, the make or break would be. And so far since being here, there's been so many people that have never known me, that have only met me for the first time and heard me sing, and they're giving me the same responses as people that I've known my entire life. It's just really, starting to make sense in my mind that it's what I was, born to do. So
it's a really crazy story on how you got here too. You got married,
right,
and then you moved here,
mm-hmm.
And then we met within a week of you moving here.
Right.
Yeah,
I know.
Do you want to tell that story? Because it is a fascinating story.
Yeah. So obviously they don't call us starving artists for no reason. So yeah. I just, like you said, yes, I got married. I was like, I have my wife, her name is JC, and she's amazing, and she's very supportive of me, and, I was kind of mulling around the idea of moving here, and I was like, well, if we're going to move, I want to do it the right way, and, I want to, pursue you in marriage and all these different things, and she was like, I'm game for it, and she said, I want to support your music, I believe in you, and, I want to be with you, so we were like, you know what, let's get married. So I proposed to her. And then after I proposed to her, 36 days later, we had a wedding with 200 people there, full reception. Her family, my family, and all of us, we put together this really decent sized wedding that you would probably think would be like a year-long process, but we did it all in 36 days.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and luckily, since I'm from such a small town in Missouri, I was able to, use my connections. One of my really good buddies that I graduated with, his family owned the only wedding venue in our small town in Missouri.
That works out.
Yeah, and they gave us, a family-friendly discount, helped us out, got us right in there, decorated the entire thing. We didn't have to do anything like that. So it was just insane. And yeah. And then a week after that, we moved to Nashville. So got married 36 days after I proposed to JC, and then we moved a week after we were married. So pretty much our entire, time we've been married, we've lived in Nashville, which has been crazy.
Yeah, and then we met probably within the first 5 days, 3 or 4 days that you were in Nashville.
Yeah, I was here probably right at a week. I'd say a little over a week whenever I put in my application to do this stuff with you guys. And like I prayed about it a lot because I worked a 9-to-5 sales job back home, and it was great money. I love the people that I worked with. It wasn't for me, and so I didn't want to come down here and do the same thing that I was doing there. And that's why the stuff with you guys was so intriguing, because it wasn't your typical 9-to-5 sales job. And I was like, I put in like my resume to like 40 places here, and I was like, I really hope this one is the one that calls me back.
Were we the only one that called you back? Or
no,
other places
there was other places that called me back, yeah, but I was like, and that's the thing with like you guys, it was like taking a chance, just with my music, it was taking a chance, like the opportunities, things aren't guaranteed, but the opportunities are endless, and I'm like, that's what I moved down here for, so I might as well just freaking go for it.
Yeah, and then you have a really decent following right now on TikTok.
Yeah.
Your music is getting really good traction.
Yeah.
So what's the experience of coming here to Nashville and being in the capital of music with working with some of the most talented people in the world been like for you?
Man, it's been crazy. I honestly, when I moved here to Nashville, I did not take TikTok serious. I was like, I don't want to do it. I think it's goofy. Same with like posting reels and all this different stuff. But then I'm talking to all these people, like you said, it's the music capital pretty much of the entire, nation. And everybody's like, you got to be consistent on TikTok. I'm here because of TikTok. I'm here because of posting on Instagram reels and all these different things. And I was like, each rider around I'm talking to somebody else who's had like a viral video on this or that. And I'm like, man, I know I've got the talents and the capability to do it. I just have to put the work in. So when I moved here, I told myself I'm going to be as consistent as possible on all, media platforms. And it's paid off, in the last... when I moved, I've been here almost 8 months now, I think. 9 months, 9-ish months. Yeah. But yeah, I've tried to post at least like 5 to 6 times a week, sometimes more. And when I moved here, I had like only like 2,500 followers on TikTok, and as of today, I have 16,000.
That's awesome.
And not right at 9 months, so it's been kind of a crazy journey. So
that's awesome. So from a perspective of music, what's one thing you've learned working with these world-class musicians here in town about like music in general?
Yeah, I've gained so much knowledge from just, the small circle that I've been working with recently, but just the knowledge that they've had and the rights that they've sat in with and the artists that they have been able to, help further with their projects and things like that. It's just been really eye-opening because back home, I had only worked with one producer my entire life. And it was from when I was 16 right up until I moved. And he's a phenomenal producer, and he helped me a lot. But being here, it opened up my mind to like, okay, it's not just one guy in, small town Missouri. There's so many different people here with so much experience and all these different things. And it's really progressed me in a way to understand music more and who I am as an artist and my capabilities as well, just from being around more talented people, because you are who you surround yourself with. Like, I live by that. Like, if you're going to live with, or if you're going to be around people that don't do anything all day long, like, you're not going to do anything. But if, for a musician, if you surround yourself with more talented producers and writers and guitar players, whatever it may be, like eventually you're gonna step up to their caliber the longer you're around them. And that's kind of what it's been for me recently, I feel like.
In your time in Nashville, what have you learned about yourself?
Just that I am more capable of what I thought I was. Sometimes, when you get in that small box mentality, you really can feel like maybe I'm not as talented as I think I am, or maybe I'm not good enough to be, headlining shows or having, hundreds of thousands of followers or listeners every month, whatever it may be. But the more that I'm here, the more I'm starting to understand, who I am as a person. Also, my relationship with God has progressed here as well. I finally got connected with, a good church and a good fellowship with men, in my small group that I attend. And you actually attend the same church that I do, and it's because of you that I go to that church, which is awesome. Which is another reason why I think God has a huge play in all this and what my my life's path is right now. But I've learned so much just physically, mentally, and spiritually, about my life that probably wouldn't have happened if I wouldn't have made this move. So
yeah, it was a really interesting time. We had. I think it was like 500 applications or something that come through. I can't remember if it was the video editing job that we posted or the sales job. Yeah, the video editing job was like 500 applications, and I'm like, there's no way we can go through this. Thankfully, we found Victor, who does all of our edits on a lot of our videos and stuff. And then the sales job, we had like 15 or 20 people apply, and I was reading your resume, and I'm like, okay, I believe this is the route I want to go.
Yeah.
And so literally, I think you submitted the resume at like 9 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
I called you the next morning, and I think we met for lunch either the day of or the next day.
it was the next day. Yeah.
And then we offered you the position within it was like 24 hours or so since you applied with us. And it's a really interesting story, and I'm so glad that you're a part of our team. Now let's talk about Nashville.
Yeah.
So you moved here. What's been standing out to you about living in a bigger area than the small town you grew up in?
Man, the traffic's ridiculous.
It's
I will say that we have like one road that runs through my small town, and you could drive with your knees and your eyes closed and be perfectly fine.
Would there be a tractor going down the
the
road?
And
Okay.
He's got his hazards on for you to pass. But haven't ran into many tractors here on Edmondson where I live. But
Edmondson doesn't really have tractors.
No.
Where you'll see the tractors is like 24.
Yeah.
They'll shut down 24 for a second to move tractors.
Right, but yeah, traffic's insane. I've realized that it is a huge city, but I see people that I know all the time in random places. It's so weird.
I was at a coffee shop the other day, and I saw two people from our church, and I was just like, oh, Nashville's like a big town, but a small town vibe.
Yeah,
so like you just interact with people, and you're just like, oh, my cousin from back home, and you're like, this is weird.
Yeah. So that's one thing that I've learned is it's huge, but for some reason I keep running into the same people that I know. It's kind of crazy, but.
What's been like from a food standpoint? What restaurants have really stood out to you?
Well, I mean, because it's so close, you guys already know Oscars.
Yeah.
That is a staple, even though they took off the beer tacos, which is a shame. It's terrible. Those are the best, and they took them off. I really love my wife and I. Locals are gonna hate on this, but I think it's fire. I think their phosphorate sodas are cool. The Pharmacy, I really like that spot. I don't know, just because I'm from out of town. Caliber Coffee is really fire. Cletus Burgers right down the joint, right down the road here. That's a really good burger spot.
Shane was on yesterday's episode. You watched it, and he's like, "How much are you paying these guys?" And we're like, "We're just going to the restaurant because it's so close to where we work."
Their truffle fries, chef's kiss. Those things are insane. But I mean, and I feel like I haven't even scratched the surface on the food here, man. Like, there's so much to eat here, and I don't know what's that hot chicken spot we went to. What's it?
Big Shakes.
Big Shakes,
yes,
phenomenal.
Big Shakes.
Their hot cheese
they have
sandwich.
They have the one in Franklin, and then they have the one in downtown Nashville and Capitol View.
Yeah.
But in Columbia, they're a fantastic chicken restaurant. I can't wait to introduce you to Red 615 Kitchen.
There we go.
With the hot chicken crunch wrap.
Okay.
You're gonna be like, yes, please.
Yeah. Luckily, I haven't experienced the Nashville 15 because I eat a bunch and then I go to the gym and just like run 9 miles. So I haven't really experienced that yet. But I'm sure the second I slack off in the gym, it's just gonna hit me like a train. So
it hit me like a train. I got pretty hefty eating all of that Nashville food, and,
Dude,
and now I'm
so
at a place
good.
where I've lost about 40 pounds.
There you go.
So,
yeah.
But I still love that Nashville food,
It's
man. It's so good. Being the musician, you've performed at a few different venues throughout town. What's been your favorite venue you've performed at so far?
Honestly, my favorite venue that I've played at so far is got to be at Cafe Coco, which is in, I think, Midtown. Yeah, I'm still learning all these places and what they're called. But that one was so special to me because a lot of people from back home got to come because it was a weekend show. Because these midday shows are kind of tough to get, your crowd from back home because life.
Yeah, like a Wednesday at 2 p.m.
Right. I mean, people have lives, they have families, they work, they have to be at the places they have to be at. But the Saturday, it was my first time ever selling tickets, so that was really special for me. The artists that were on to play that night, in total, we sold it out. We had it to max capacity. Aaron was there; he could attest to it. You couldn't even move in there. So just playing in front of a packed out little crowd was just really cool. And then also my grandma was there, my aunt was there, my brother and his friends were there, my wife's grandma and step grandpa were there, her mom was there. And there was even people from back home that weren't in my circle that had made the trip because they were able to, because it was a weekend. So yeah, it was just so awesome to see people that I've met here in Nashville that are starting to like my music, like my small little, fan base here that were there. And then also, people from my circle back home, to be in one spot. It was like a very humbling experience for me to see how loved I truly am by the people that, care about me.
Well, what's been a really a memory that you want to cherish for a long time in live performance?
Man, just the fact that I had played. At the time my song Monte Carlo was unreleased, and I had saved it to the very end to play, and I had talked about it being unreleased, all this different thing. No, it's the first time I ever played it live. That wasn't a writer's round, and there's typically not always a lot of people at writer's rounds, but for my own show, I played it live. And just the, people, they stood up and they gave me a standing ovation for that song.
Wow.
And it was it really resonated to me, hey, these people have never heard it. They did not know anything about this song. Some of them didn't even know who I was. And these people are standing up and clapping for me and are truly, immersed in the moment and supporting me. And it was just kind of crazy. And then also to have with me on stage in that moment, my buddies from back home that I grew up with, they were literally my next door neighbors growing up, Carter and Nolan. Nolan plays the bass and does the sound for me, and Carter he plays the drums. And so to have them up there with me at that moment was something that I'll always remember.
Are they planning on relocating here to Nashville?
They're trying to, man. Carter's he's getting serious with his girlfriend, and they're back home. And Nolan's he's single and he wants to move down here and do the thing. He's just got to make sure he can do it. But I would love for them both to eventually be here. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, so the reason I brought up the live shows is you actually have a live show tonight.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So you have a live show tonight, and where is this going to be? How much is the ticket? Where can people buy a ticket?
Yeah, so this is going to be at the Hutton Hotel, the Analog venue, I guess is how you would say that. It's going to be in the Analog. But yeah, you can get tickets at the door, $20, or you can get the pre-sale tickets in the link in my Instagram bio or TikTok bio. My handles are all Brett Seper. I think I'm the only one in the world, fortunately, with that name. So I got all the handles with that. So whatever link in any bio that you can see, that's where you'll be able to get the tickets. They're $15 pre-sale and then $20 at the door. I do believe you have to be 21 or older to be there at this specific venue. Because they're doing a mixer with Young Country radio station, so it's gonna be super cool. Gonna get some opportunities with them, which is awesome. So,
how many other artists are performing?
I think 3. There's 3 other artists that are playing.
Okay.
Yep.
And then, are you excited?
Yeah. Does a bear do his business in the woods? Because that's how excited I am. Yes, I'm very excited. I've been scouting out this venue for a while. It's very cool. I feel like I'm going to get a lot of really good content there. That's one thing I'm very excited for. It's crazy. 9 months ago, I wouldn't even have cared about content, but now if I do something, I have to have it.
You are riding with us every single day, and we are making content.
Yeah. So now
every day.
Now I know how important it is, and it's got a really cool feel. The aesthetic there is awesome. I feel like it's going to be a really good turnout, and I'm very excited and honored to be able to play there.
What are you looking forward to? What's the dream in your music goal?
Honestly, my dream is just to be able to do it to be able to do music full time and to be able to support my family and my future family, if JC and I ever decide to have kids or whatever, I don't want to do the rock star lifestyle. That's not something that really interests me. I don't want to party all the time. I don't want to be staying up late and going to clubs and doing all these different things. I just want to make music that people can resonate with and can relate to, whether it be stories from my life or stories from family members' lives or my friends, things that I pick up on my experience in this journey with life, and I just want people to be able to resonate with that. But I want to be able to do it to where I can make a living off of it, if that makes sense, Yeah. And so that's my goal, is just to be able to be that kind of artist that makes relatable music without like the rock and roll style lifestyle, I guess.
Well, let's talk about your genre just for a second.
Yeah.
You would be more classified as a pop artist.
Yeah, like an
genre?
indie pop singer songwriter, I guess you could say. It took me a while to really find my sound, I would say, because I've never been one that just really wanted to take after somebody else. I don't want to sound just like Post Malone. I don't want to sound just like Justin Bieber. I don't want to sound just like what Shawn Mendes or whatever. Like, I really wanted to find who I was as an artist versus like trying to copycat all these other people. Having references and influences is great. I've had many of those, and the names I just named are a few of them. But I've just really been trying to hone in on who I am, and I feel like I've finally found that lane now that I'm here in Nashville, just really dedicating all my time to my artistry.
Brett, thank you so much for coming on to the Nashville Daily Podcast.
You're welcome.
We'll have you on again, and we're going to be introducing you as a co-host here in the future. So you'll be coming on and doing some interviews with us with other musicians and whatnot. So if you want to follow him, was it Brett Seper on TikTok and Brett Seper on Instagram as well?
Yes, sir. And on Spotify, Apple Music, BRETTSEPER.
So Brett, thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you again soon. And make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Nashville Daily Podcast, and visit our new website, NashvilleDailyPodcast.com. And we will see you tomorrow. Thank you for listening to the Nashville Daily Podcast. If you want to learn more, head to NashvilleDailyPodcast.com.
You can also follow us on social media at explore.nash on Instagram, Nashville Daily Podcast on YouTube, and explore.nash on YouTube as well.
The Nashville Daily Podcast is an Explore LLC production, copyright 2023.